So you open YouTube and you search CAT preparation without coaching. Thousands of videos and everyone's promising you can do it without coaching. And you want to believe them because coaching is expensive and whatnot. But there's a small voice in your head that says, what if I'm fooling myself? You look at others who are actually being coached for this and they're solving faster, they're scoring higher, and you start wondering, is self-prep freedom or denial? 90th percentile के ऊपर से 10% लोग ही जाएंगे तो चल क्या रहा है? कोचिंग वाले लोग अपना टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं या फिर सेल्फ प्रेप वाले खुद को बेवकूफ बना रहे हैं? Let's dissect this and comment below what you think. Let's start a debate. Before we do, who am I and why should you even listen to me? So I have cracked CAT, GMAT, CFA all 3 levels in the first attempt while working full-time. I have an MBA from IIM Code and I've worked in front-end investment banking, closing deals to the tune of 2,500 crores. So I know a thing or two about competitive exams and how businesses are run. I've seen both sides with structure and without it. So let's talk about the guarantee of success first. Short answer, no one can give you that guarantee. खुद करोगे तो guarantee की कोई बात ही नहीं है कि कौन गारंटी देगा तुमको. कोचिंग वाले भी कोई गारंटी नहीं देंगे तुमको. ओके, हो सकता है मार्केटिंग के टाइम और अपनी मार्केटिंग मटीरियल में घुमा फिरा के तुमको कुछ लीड कर दें किसी तरफ where you are thinking वो गारंटी है but no one's explicitly going to give you that guarantee. After all, अगर गारंटी दे ही सकते होते तो इतने हजारों टॉपर टेस्टिमोनियल्स जो देखते हो हर जगह उसमें क्यों इन्वेस्ट करते यार? तब तो गारंटी के लिए तो बस फिर यही बोलना काफी था ना, 100% ऑफ द बैच क्लियर्ड दिस. अभी होती है गारंटी तो. So वो तो कहीं नहीं है. Let's talk about the next thing. Study material. ज्योमेट्री के फॉर्मूलाज चेंज नहीं हुए. DILR और VARC में गिने चुने कॉन्सेप्ट्स होते हैं. उसके बाद तो बस प्रैक्टिस और अनसर्टेनिटी से डील करना होता है. Anyways, अगर तुम्हें कुछ समझ नहीं आता तो तुम अपने दोस्तों के पास जाते हो, गूगल के पास जाते हो, यूट्यूब पे आते हो या फिर ChatGPT से पूछते हो. अपने टीचर के पास तो बहुत बाद में जाते हो. So long story short, शायद एक साइकोलॉजिकल कंफर्ट देते हैं कोचिंग वाले when they provide you specific modules that sort of make it seem comforting कि अगर मैंने ये सारे मॉड्यूल्स जो मुझे प्रोवाइड करे गए हैं ये पढ़ लिया, that means I am ready. I don't need to learn anything more. वो साइकोलॉजिकल कंफर्ट दे सकते हैं कोचिंग वाले because what I also felt खुद से प्रिपेयर करते टाइम was कहीं कुछ छूट तो नहीं रहा, कहीं कुछ नया तो ऐड नहीं हो रहा. Which added a few hours of searching here and there, but it wasn't a deal breaker for me. And थोड़ा टाइम बच जाता है मटेरियल ढूंढने में. That is definitely an edge they provide. But in terms of study material alone, this exam has been around for a while. It's a very well-oiled machine. There is no shortage of material online. And if it is that certainty that you are looking for, then वो तो यार अरुण शर्मा की बुक्स में भी मिल जाएगी. That's what I used. सारे QA के ट्रिक्स हैं उसमें. यहाँ भी कोई टाई ब्रेक नहीं हुआ. So let's talk about time commitment. Now this is a big one because 1 घंटे का सेशन होता है. Let's say weekdays का ले रहे हो, so 5 दिन होगा. Commute का टाइम आधा घंटा to and fro इग्नोर कर देते हैं अभी. Let's say for the sake of argument, online ले रहे हो, so there's no commute. Average let's say 3-3.5 महीने की तुम्हारी prep है, so roughly around 60 hours का तुमने commitment कर दिया है. That's just the sessions themselves. I don't know about you or what kind of a learner you are, but personally for me, I knew that classroom में पढ़ाया हुआ मुझे कुछ याद नहीं होता. मुझे याद सिर्फ तभी होता है जब मैं खुद उस पर टाइम स्पेंड करता हूँ. I knew that very clearly. So CAT वगैरह और इन सब के लिए मैंने किसी के लिए कोई कोचिंग नहीं ली because I knew मेरे लिए टाइम वेस्ट है वो. And रही बात मटेरियल ढूंढने की, dude, even if I were to say really struggle to find that material, 60 घंटे तो नहीं लगने ना उस मटेरियल को ढूंढने में. This kind of a time gap can actually make up for a lot of things. सही क्या है? You need to do a little bit of introspection here. What kind of a person are you? Do you learn better in a classroom with a lot of people and all that? That is not the only dimension, is there? You know, there's guidance that you get, there are doubt clearing sessions that you get and all that stuff too. So we need to take all that into account as well. Let's talk about that. But before we do, if you're still here, like the video. It really helps the channel and the YouTube algorithm loves it. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's talk about another thing. Every single one of you who's watching the video is going to be at a very different preparation level. Needless to say, repeat CAT takers probably don't need coaching, but even that could be a wrong statement. And let me tell you why. अगर तुम रोज पढ़ ही नहीं रहे हो and कोचिंग जाने के बहाने तुम पढ़ लेते थे रोज, तो उस केस में अगर तुमने कोचिंग छोड़ दी ना और रूटीन नहीं बना पाए तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. But if you've been managing prep well on your own and you're decent conceptually, then yeah, sure, you can do without coaching. Because at that point, it's going to be more about practice and learning from your mistakes, which of course you can do on your own. So the questions that you need to ask yourself are, where are you in your prep and how quickly do you learn? खुद से concept समझने में और पढ़ने में problem होती है? Okay, YouTube पर देख लो, तब भी समझ नहीं आया या फिर problem हो रही है? In that case, coaching may be the way to go. Now let's talk about isolation. What if you thrive on regular doses of motivation because organically नहीं आ रहा है and you also thrive on peer pressure, competition and all that? उस केस में अगर तुमने कोचिंग छोड़ी तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी because those doses of motivation are insanely hard to keep up when you're preparing on your own, and cadence disruption may actually lead to you falling completely off. Because when you go solo, you kind of lose all this. And that is honestly where most self-preppers fail. When you're self-studying, you're basically your own teacher, judge, and critic. And there's absolutely no one to sort of normalize that chaos. One bad mock feels like an identity collapse. Coaching may at least हमारे groups बन जाते हैं because you find like-minded people who are going through the same motions, and you sort of build this system with people that kind of brings you back on track. But then again, गलत लोग मिल गए तो फिर मामला बिगड़ भी जाता है. The point that I'm trying to get to is that these are the kind of trade-offs that you have in both these decisions. So with coaching, however, it's kind of like the room of requirements in Harry Potter. You always have access to help should you need it, but that's not necessarily there if you're preparing on your own, more so if you're working while doing that. Now let's talk some data. Take a look at this. 25 to 30% of IM admits in 2024 prepared without formal coaching. That number is a minority because the environment at home is simply not designed for long-term focus, especially when you try to balance CAT prep with your college work or your full-time job. The brain sort of performs when you have deadlines, when you have accountability. All of them are kind of missing when you're preparing on your own. And without these things, your prep is going to look like the vast ocean, totally directionless. So if you're going solo, you need to create this friction for yourself artificially, because otherwise you're just going to lose to someone who already has these systems in place. So बहुत हो गया coaching. अब बात करते हैं self prep की. After all, मैंने भी तो वही की थी. Let me tell you what you have that most coaching students don't, and that is agility. तुम्हारा एक mock खराब होता है ना, you don't really have to wait for the teacher to actually come and discuss the mock and give you validation that okay बेटा इसलिए हुआ था, ये question tough था, तो ये गलत हुआ, तो tension मत लेना, and all that crap. You have the ability to test, tweak, and move on the very next instant, and that is exactly what most smart self-preppers do. They move quickly, silently, and play to their advantage. No validation, just iteration. They're not romanticizing the grind, they're basically engineering it. So if you're cold and analytical like that, maybe self-prep is the way for you. But let's be honest, we're not machines. And I'd be lying if I said that emotional stuff, motivational dips, and all that did not happen with me when I was preparing on my own. I had to deal with them, and it was not exactly a walk in the park. It will happen at some point. So, should I join coaching or not is not actually the right question to ask here. The question that you should be asking yourself, if you can actually create a system that can replace what coaching actually provides. If yes, you don't need coaching. But if the answer is no, then please don't glorify self-prep. I mean, it's not courage, it's just chaos. Yeah, दोनों options में ही लगी पड़ी होती है सबकी. Please don't glorify self-prep, just evaluate the trade-offs that are applicable for you. The exam does not care who taught you, it just rewards those who are able to perform on the exam day. That's it. So if you are interested in more analytical breakdowns like this, please subscribe to the channel. Good luck.